shit. Hello everyone and welcome to the Captain's Video Weblog. We are Thursday, October the 15th, 2015. It's around 8:15 p.m. Just got home, not from class. I only had class this morning. And boy, do I want to talk shit about it. I mustn't, I guess. But it would feel so much better if I just let it all out. God damn it. For once that I managed to arrive at time, it begins a half an hour late. Why? This shouldn't be allowed. After that, the teacher said, yeah, I told it was on the schedule. No, it fucking wasn't on the schedule. It was 9 a.m., not 9:30, and it didn't even begin at 9:30. It began around, I don't know, 9:45. Because of that, we didn't even get to take a break at halftime, I would say. Which was pretty frustrating because, ecology, it's pretty good, environment, caring about the environment, but all the laws behind it, the treaties behind it, we see that all the time on TV. We know what it is about. I should stop. I finalized my registration, inscription, enrollment, whatever, into the science university. No, not the science, the humanities university. This afternoon took quite a long while. I was supposed to have the appointment at 2 p.m. but because I am shit at managing time, I was there around 5 to 10, around that time. But still, because I had an appointment at 2, I was, privileged to go before the person who had an appointment at 2:15, which is natural, I guess. There's a lot of stuff that went wrong. Part of it is because of me. I know where the blame is to put. And obviously the blame is on me, because you have to ask for a scholarship. You aren't proposed a scholarship when it's on social grounds, because your parents don't earn enough money, and you live at a certain distance from the university. Well, your family home, I can say your hometown because, as it happened to me, my hometown is the place where I was born, and it's not the place where I live. Actually, I have lived in the place where I was born for about 2 or 3 years, tops. But yeah, so I was supposed to get back home by. For me, I was supposed to get back home by 2:30 because I wanted to take not a quick nap, but at least being able to kind of rest my eyes, because last night, because of this whole having to put both videos into my computer and then mush them together with Windows Movie Maker, and then the upload, I think I went to sleep around 4 a.m. 4:30, and I woke up at 7, which was, in hindsight, it's really frustrating. I know that I spent a good hour, more than an hour, in my bed listening to Funhouse and how we shouldn't bitch about Battlefront. Honestly, I don't care, because I really like to hear their opinions on games that I will probably never get to play because my computer cannot run it, and I am too poor to afford well, I am not too poor, but my parents are too poor to afford the consoles, and I mean that's a burden I don't want to put on them, since probably all me and my siblings, my sisters really are going to move out of the family home pretty soon. I mean, we're all adults, so I mean, as soon as we all just don't have a reason anymore to live at home, well, I guess we'll all leave. I mean, it could happen as early as February for me. I have my internship that begins in February. Just thinking that maybe they could propose me a job after the internship, because that's kind of stuff that could happen. I could have to leave home, especially if the internship and the subsequent job are pretty far away. I mean, if it's in Montpellier, I don't know, maybe I will, depending on the hours, I might still live at home for a while. But yeah, that's something I don't want to really see, to really impose on my parents. Even though I will, I mean, I'm still young. I mean, I turned 22 last month, so obviously I still have a reason to check back on them every now and again. I mean, I go home every weekend basically. I still call my parents' house home, as opposed to calling my apartment. My apartment, I don't really call it home. I call it my apartment. I call it, yeah, I really call it my flat. You know, it's my something. It's not yet my home, because I don't consider those 18 square meters as my home. I probably will never do as such. If anything, I would try at least to have 50 square meters for me, with a better thermal isolation. Yeah, so in the afternoon I wanted to just do it, you know, quickly just put myself in the dark for what, maybe quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, and then because I've seen special offer in the place where I do my grocery store shop, where you can go to the cinema and only pay €6.80 to see a movie. So I was like, hey, that's a really good plan, because even as a student in university, I paid, I think the last time I went to the cinema, I paid probably €8, which is really expensive. I mean, it was Interstellar or Gone Girl, which were both very good movies, but still, it's, you know, an expense. You got to, you know, that's all the small things that then they pile up, and suddenly, oh, I have no money anymore. What has happened? I realized that when I checked my bank account, because I went a lot to do the grocery shopping in the past couple of weeks, or even the last month, and at the end of the day I paid a lot by card, something I didn't really do last year, something I haven't really done in 2 or 3 years really, because I always get you know, that paper money. That really helps putting a value on things, you know, because when you have your bank account and you pay with your card, and you know that you have a certain amount, and you know that, hey, this is not the amount you have on the account, so maybe you can pay it without thinking a lot about it. So yeah, I was like, yeah, €6. I took, I think, 3 of those kind of tickets. So I checked the hours for the seance of straight out of Compton. You know, the NWA biopic, not the wrestling, the rap group, the rap band. You know, Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, MC Ren. There was DJ Yella and Ice Cube, of course. Ice Cube is one of the greatest lyricists in hip hop, really. There's Kanye, there's Eminem, and really Ice Cube is, I mean, he's pretty much part of the, it's kind of a holy trifecta. Not to shit on MC Ren, who wrote all the diss tracks on Ice Cube when he left NWA. That's all in the movie. I knew it because I've grown up in a, doesn't look like it, but I've grown up kind of in the hood. I was born in Marseille, which is already a pretty, I mean, you wouldn't know it probably, but it has the reputation of being a pretty sketchy town. And I grew up, for 2 years I lived in Marseille. I grew up in the northern part of the city, where nowadays you could say that it's pretty much Compton, French Compton. That's not a joke. This is really serious. This is a really big issue, and they still keep electing the same mayor for 20 years, I think, who totally abandoned this part of the town to concentrate, to focus on the big new projects. Let's make Marseille a big shiny city. But, you know, Castellan, you can forget about it. Belle-de-Mai, what are you doing? Yeah, that's really shitty, and that helped. That boosted the criminality in those parts of the town. So yeah, I grew up there for 2 years. Even though it really didn't influence my way of life, my lifestyle. I listened to a lot of rap very young. Started with French rap because obviously that's the kind of stuff you hear when you're young. You recognize because, hey, they speak the same language as my parents do. So I guess I should probably begin with that. But I think first time I listened to Eminem, for instance, I was 8, which is really young. And I mean, I never really identified with Eminem because he talked about a very tortured part of the white America, as he calls it, but it's a part of the population he doesn't identify with. He just plays a character, you know, Slim Shady. Eminem, he's a product of Aftermath, which is the label of Dr. Dre, who was in NWA. I think they tried to have the sons of the people who were in NWA play their fathers. I think only O'Shea Jackson Jr., the son of Ice Cube, managed to play the part of his father. Even though I would think that probably the son of Dr. Dre would be too old. I'm not sure. Too young to play his father. I know that one of the sons, maybe it was Eazy-E's son. Not entirely sure about that. Was pretty pissed about not being able to play his father. One of the sons was pretty pissed about not being able to play his father, and he really talked shit on the movie. It was back in January of this year. There's also the whole thing with Suge Knight. He's a crazy man. I mean, it's a pretty well-known fact that, I mean, I shouldn't say that because I might have a target on my back right now, but he's pretty crazy. He's a pretty disturbed man. The biopic of the movie on Suge Knight will be very interesting to watch. Oh yeah, it will. I didn't know why Dre founded. I knew a lot of stuff about NWA. You know, like the falling out with first Ice Cube and then Dr. Dre, and then pretty much the whole band. You know, at the end it was Eazy and the Bone Thugs, but it wasn't really the same thing anymore. And I didn't know that apparently Eazy tried to make an NWA reunion in the mid '90s. Was a time not long after that he died from AIDS. I think he is one of the main people who really made it clear that it wasn't the gay disease, you know, it wasn't the gay plague, because I mean, Eazy-E, he wasn't gay. I mean, he made a pretty clear point. I mean, you can see it in the movie. If you haven't seen Straight Outta Compton, you should probably see it. I mean, even if you're not a fan of rap, you gotta know the background. Even though I think it's pretty romanticized, I mean, sure, Ice Cube, he was quick on the pen, but I don't think he was that quick to write the rhymes for Fuck the Police just after a pretty heated incident in front of the studio in Torrance. But I mean, it could have happened that way. I mean, they had, I think, MC Ren and DJ Yella to be kind of the experts, the NWA experts. I know that the movie was produced by Ice Cube and Eazy-E's widow. So yeah, I mean, it might be faithful to a point. I mean, when you see the first scene with Ice Cube, he's in a school bus writing rhymes about the jocks, you know, the rich guys of his high school, and then he's talking about I mean, NWA, they the pioneers of gangster rap, even though they called it realistic rap in the movie. I mean, I don't know if they really called it realistic, but I mean, in the French dub, because that's the only thing I was able to watch, they called it realistic rap. It didn't look like Ice Cube was that much of a thug. Eazy, certainly so. Dre, mixed opinion. DJ Yella, I mean, he looked really like all bark and no bite. MC Ren was one of Eazy-E's pals, so probably. And yeah, I think there was DOC. But I mean, it's a really good. It was a really good movie. And when they begin, when they are in the recording studio and they begin singing Straight Outta Compton, Fuck the Police, and all the great, pretty much all their greatest hits. It's like, hey, it's taking me back a few years, because Fuck the Police became, you know, just a sentence. Fuck the Police became a meme. But before that, I don't think anyone would have taken, you know, Fuck the Police as a meme if not for NWA. NWA made this sentence, these three words. They took them to such a fame, I guess. That yeah. Now it's just yeah. Look at me. I'm riding an ostrich. Fuck the police. But I mean, it's a real anthem. It's representative of what minorities, especially the African Americans, lived and suffered at the ends of police. You know, police brutality is something that that's really that also happens in France. I have seen it well on TV. It looked really awful, and I mean, at protests they're having the riot police, and it's real. I mean, that's gotta be a little bit frightening when you see those guys in the really. I mean, they're pretty much in armor, even though it's just I would say Kevlar. I'm not entirely sure. With their helmets and their shields, and they have the batons, and they're just hitting the shields with the batons, and they're like, yeah, whoa boy, hey, fuck off. So yeah, I have been rushing pretty much all day long, even to catch the tramway after doing after buying some bottles of water. I had to rush a bit to catch the tram. I did something that in hindsight could be taken as pretty suspect. I had this, you know, this package of sausage, I guess, and you know those little sausages, the French saucisson. And I ate it, and I was like, yeah, but it's in my hand, and it's bothering me. And it's going to bother me if there's a lot of people at the tram stop that I'm supposed to alight, where I'm supposed to alight. So I decided that when I would see a station where there would be a garbage dustbin pretty lined up with the back door, I would make a dash for it, and I saw a station where there was a dustbin close to the back door, and I made a dash for it, and I dunked the package right into the trash bag, and I ran back into the tramway, and like I was so proud of myself. In retrospect, it could have looked like I either tried to escape the tram or tried to dunk a bomb. But why would I do that? I mean, it's a shitty neighborhood anyway. It's like this monumental buildings, like wannabe Greek or Roman architecture. It looks really big. I mean, there's nothing else really to it. But I can say that it looks like shit. It looks huge. I kind of want to live in one of those buildings, but you know. So yeah. I know. I remember that I wanted to talk about something yesterday. For the life of me, I cannot remember what I wanted to talk about. Even if I watched the video from yesterday, I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't remember, because I was like, hey, you know what? And I remember pretty clearly saying, yeah, no, you know, I'm gonna keep it for tomorrow. And I think maybe it was about the cashier who knows lots of stuff about Japan, who might be a huge weeb, or just a guy who studied Japanese culture, or who went in Japan, or liked Japan and decided, hey, maybe I'm gonna take some informations. So that would maybe say that he's a huge weeb anyway. Tomorrow I don't have class in the afternoon, so I will probably do I captain's video weblog around noon, just before I dash to take the train. I mean, I have the occasion to go home early. I don't know why I wouldn't pass, and I would pass on such an occasion. Plus, will be just a cool thing to do. You know, hey, I haven't done anything except a boring programmation exam that I probably failed. I mean, we never know, but it's JavaScript. We had probably 2 whole classes about it. I didn't really listen because, I mean, it's kind of boring, you know? Yeah. But I mean, I'm really interested. Plus, I've seen that it even gets me more credits than the class of this morning. That's supposed to. I mean, the class of this morning, we have lots of people that are going to come and talk about their stuff every week. And I mean, like, yeah, that's cool because it gives us some insight on what's really happening in some parts of the world that we might not think about. But on the other hand, there's no real thread, you know, there's no red herring to that. You are just sitting in a huge room that's barely even filled, and you're like, hey, I don't know. This is interesting, but at the same time, I woke up at 7 for that, huh? It's going to be even worse. I mean, I thought it would be going to be even worse next week because the road, the street, well, it will be closed for cars and probably even the bus all week. Starting Monday, which is a good thing because I'm arriving Sunday night. I was really afraid that I would have to walk from the tramway station to my apartment with my suitcase. No, with my computer case and my backpack, because that's not as easily manageable as with a suitcase. Even though it's probably less heavy, which means also lighter. So yeah, I decided that I would skip that class just next Thursday because it's not a problem with the class itself. It's more a problem with the professor. I had in the first year I was here, and it went. I had 7 at the first evaluation, the first exam, the first session. We have exams in 2 sessions. You have 2 chances, and they taking the best notes out of the 2. So that's win-win. If you go to one and have a good grade, hey, you're going to have a good grade. If you go to the second one and have an even better grade, Jesus Christ, it's even better. And if you have a shit grade and a good grade, or a good grade and a shit grade, you just, I mean, it's just 2 or 1 hour of your life that you're not getting back. And so what? So yeah, and the second chance I managed to, we had the exact same question, and for the first exam, the exam was an essay. Both exams were an essay on the exact same subject, and I managed to bomb the second exam. I had 2, and at the first time I had 7, which is a fall of 5 points in the same question, which is something that is probably very unlikely to happen. You know, when there's the same question, you're probably going to do better because you're supposed to have thought about what you did wrong. No, I hated that class in the second years of bachelor's degree. I learned also in English that it's not a bachelor's degree, it's a BA, a bachelor's of arts. So I had a BA in geography. which is very strange. You know, you have a PhD, which is Philosophiae Doctoris. You know, PhD means that you are a doctor in philosophy, and but you just had your doctorate. There's only the master's degree that he's a master's. There's the bachelor, that most bachelors, both degrees are a BA, a bachelor's of art, a bachelor of arts, which sounds really strange when you're talking about geography, because geography, I mean, there's rules to how you should make a map, how it should look like, but I don't think it's an art. Oh, I mean, it could be. I mean, trolling is a art. Yes, that's the phrase. Marble cake, also the game. Ha! You just lost. And I did too, because I thought about it before saying it. I just am constantly spouting memes. At least I'm not doing that on public as I was doing in the early 2010s, which was pretty cringeworthy. And yesterday, I think that looking for how you would say, how you would translate inscription probably made me go over the line. So I see that we are closing in on the time I was the video stopped yesterday. So well, not yesterday, it was this morning, early this morning really. So thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. And I won't make a 30-minute vlog tomorrow because I will probably want to rush back home after what might be one of the greatest humiliations of my life. What am I even saying? I'm totally insensitive to that kind of shit.